There is an old warning passed down through the Appalachian Mountains. If you're alone in the forest and someone calls your name, don't answer. The voice may sound familiar. It may sound like someone you love, but according to locals, it isn't. In the autumn of 2021, 4 friends entered one of the oldest forests in the Appalachian Mountains. The trail was popular. The weather was calm. The plan was simple: a short hike, then back before dark. At first, everything felt normal. The sound of leaves beneath their boots, cold mountain air, silence between the trees. Then, Mike suddenly stopped walking. He looked deep into the forest. He had heard his older brother call his name. The voice was clear, close, almost close enough to touch. The others looked around. They hadn't heard anything. His brother was hundreds of miles away. They laughed. They blamed exhaustion, and they kept walking. 10 minutes later, Sarah froze. She whispered, "My mom is calling me." The others listened. Nothing, only the wind. The forest had become strangely quiet. Daniel remembered something an old local had once told him. Whatever you hear, don't answer, and never follow the voice. Nobody laughed anymore. The deeper they walked, the stranger the forest became. Each of them began hearing different voices: a brother, a mother, a childhood friend. Every voice knew their name. Every voice sounded completely real. Yet every person heard something different. Then they all felt it. The feeling that someone or something was walking with them. Far between the trees, a tall, dark figure stood perfectly still. It never moved. It never came closer. It simply watched. Nobody wanted to be the first to admit they could see it, so they kept walking, faster. Then a loud scream echoed behind them. 3 of them turned around. 1 didn't. When they looked forward again, Daniel was gone. They found him several minutes later, standing completely motionless before a massive dead tree. His eyes never blinked. He was staring into the darkness. Mike grabbed his shoulder. "What happened?" Daniel answered quietly, "It told me to come." Nobody asked another question. They ran, without looking back. The forest seemed endless. Every path looked the same. Every tree looked identical. Finally, they reached their car. Doors locked, engine started. Nobody spoke during the drive home. The next morning, Mike reviewed the dashcam footage. At first, everything looked normal. Then, something appeared. For the entire drive, a dark silhouette sat silently in the back seat. No one had seen it. No one remembered anyone sitting there. 2 days later, Mike received a phone call from an unknown number. He answered. For several seconds, there was only breathing. Then, the same voice from the forest whispered his name. 1 week later, one member of the group disappeared. His vehicle was found parked near the same trail entrance. The keys were still inside. His backpack remained untouched. He was never found. Today, many people still repeat the same warning throughout the Appalachian Mountains. If someone calls your name, and you know you're alone, keep walking. Don't answer. Because sometimes the mountain already knows exactly whose voice you'll trust.